In January of 1944, the Allies attacked the town of Cisterna, Italy. A small town that happened to be the hub of several roads running east and north, directions in which 6 Corps needed to go to cut the German lines of communication and reach Rome. A railroad also ran northeast from Cisterna. The infiltration began at 0100 hours on January 30, 1944, and soon developed into a disaster. Using a long drainage ditch, the 2 infiltrating Ranger battalions moved deep into the German lines. But when the ditch ended, the Rangers were forced into the open along the Femina-Morta-Cisterna road. Soon a German sentry gave the alarm, and within moments the 2 battalions were fighting for their lives. Fighting off tanks and infantry supported by machine guns, mortars, and artillery, the lightly armed Rangers were outgunned. Frantic efforts by the 4th Ranger Battalion to relieve them, even when supported by tanks and artillery, failed. When it was over later that day, some 12 Rangers had been killed, 36 wounded, and 743 captured. Cisterna remained unreachable by the Americans for the next 4 months. A ferocious German counterattack designed to destroy the British-American beachhead failed only by a thread. The American and British lines were pushed back in some places to the final beachhead line, after which evacuation or surrender would be the only choice left to 6 Corps. But the Allies prevailed, despite crippling losses suffered by the 45th Infantry Division and the 1st British Infantry Division. A stalemate ensued beginning at the end of February 1944 and lasted into May. Things had changed by May 1944. The Allies had more troops and equipment available on both the Cassino and Anzio fronts. The weather was improving, allowing Allied air power to make its presence felt. It was during this May offensive that Sylvester Antolak took part. On May 24, 1944, he charged 200 yards over flat, coverless terrain to destroy an enemy machine gun nest during the 2nd day of the offensive, which broke through the German cordon of steel around the Anzio beachhead. Fully 30 yards in advance of his squad, he ran into withering enemy machine gun, machine pistol, and rifle fire. 3 times he was struck by bullets and knocked to the ground, but each time he struggled to his feet to continue his relentless advance. With one shoulder deeply gashed and his right arm shattered, he continued to rush directly into the enemy fire concentration with his submachine gun wedged under his uninjured arm until within 15 yards of the enemy strongpoint, where he opened fire at deadly close range, killing 2 Germans and forcing the remaining 10 to surrender. He reorganized his men and, refusing to seek medical attention so badly needed, chose to lead the way toward another strongpoint 100 yards distant. Utterly disregarding the hail of bullets concentrated upon him, he had stormed ahead nearly 3/4 of the space between strongpoints when he was instantly killed by hostile enemy fire. Inspired by his example, his squad went on to overwhelm the enemy troops. By his supreme sacrifice, superb fighting courage, and heroic devotion to the attack, Sergeant Antolak was directly responsible for eliminating 20 Germans, capturing an enemy machine gun, and clearing the path for his company to advance.